Hello everyone and welcome to Fontbonne. My name is Amy Peach and I'm an instructional technologist here on campus, and this will be an introductory tutorial on some of the basic technology for adjuncts on Fontbonne's campus. Now if you work for other institutions, you may have found that everybody has a slightly different way of doing things. We all access our rosters, report grades, use course management system, use campus email in slightly different ways, and while there's lots of in-depth information and training available on all of these things, this is just a really quick 10-minute run-through of where you can find some of the most basic things. Please remember, as you go through this, if you have questions, go ahead and jot them down. You can ask them of your department contact. You should have already had a person within your department who can answer most of your questions, or I'll provide my contact information at the end. So if it's anything technology related, you're more than welcome to contact me as well. Now, this one is designed for adjuncts because they tend to be scattered quite a bit, and it's very tough to get connected to our part-time folks, but I did want to say that we are so very glad that you're here. Fontbonne relies very heavily on its adjuncts to provide our students with a far more expanded view of their various topics, and so the experience has been just wonderful for our students. It's been wonderful for us, and so we're very, very happy to have you here. Having said that, I'm going to go ahead and orient you a little bit so that your life here is a little bit less hectic. Most of your resources for your technology are going to be able to access from the Fontbonne website. So I'm going to go ahead and say I start with a search engine, as many of us do, and you want to access the campus website at www.fontbonne.edu. If you just put fontbonne.edu, it'll take you to a different site, so you want to make sure to put that www in there. Now, once you access the site, there are really just three areas of technology that we're going to cover today, but there are many others too. There are we have smart boards, we have clickers, there are lots of other technologies that you can use within your classroom as well. But today we're just going to cover the basics. When you get access the website, if you go to Resources for, at the very bottom, you're going to see Faculty and Staff. So you go ahead and click on there. And the three that we're going to cover today are Blackboard, which is our course management system, the campus email, which everyone needs to use so that we can all stay on the same page, and then there's GriffinNet. GriffinNet is our portal, so you'll be able to access your roster and enter your grades. Because this is the one that everyone always accesses only a handful of times in the semester, we're going to go ahead and start there. So I click on here, and you can see that we've got a whole series of items here. There's an info center where you can find a lot of IT information, student life, academics, admissions. Everyone on campus uses this in some way, shape, or form. For your purposes, though, you're going to need to actually log in. Now, I will explain that there is a process that you have to go through when your contract is signed, your background check is complete, and then the paperwork is shuffled through about 3 offices before it gets to IT. So it's not as though you can get a login immediately. Sometimes it takes a little while depending on different circumstances. So just know that once you turn in your paperwork, if everything is done, then you will go ahead and get your login, but it may take a little bit of time. Now, for those of us who are faculty and staff, our login is going to be our first initial and our last name. Okay, and then they'll give you a default password, but you can go ahead and change that anytime. Okay, so I have my password in, and I'm going to go ahead and click login. And if I go into academics, the academics tab is where you're going to want to go for your particular information. And it explains here how there are different things that students can do, there are different things faculty can access, and for advisement, which most of you are not going to have to deal with. So if you go into, on the left-hand side, you're going to see a faculty link here. Go ahead and click there. And then this will give you your information on grade entry. If you are an options faculty member, then their attendance link is here. There are only a handful of times when you will need to access this, usually at the beginning for your course roster, to submit your grades, and if you have that attendance. If there are any other registration issues with your students, you may need to come back here, but for the most part, you're only going to access this a few times during the semester. So that's the most basic part of it, but again, there's always more information and training available on the portal if you need it. Okay, so that's GriffinNet, and now we're going to go down to our most popular links here when we were already at the resources for faculty, and I'm going to go first to campus email, since that's relatively simple. Most campuses do use this. They use Outlook. And so if you have seen this you've probably seen this layout, somewhere before. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and type in my username, and this is where it's slightly different because I can't just put a Peach here. I have to put my actual email address, and so that's where it's different from the portal and from Blackboard. So you have to put that at fontbonne.edu. Don't do that for either the portal or Blackboard. It won't recognize it, so it's only here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put in my password and click login, and then I can see all of my various emails. And it works just like everything else. You're going to see there's a calendar available. It automatically goes to your inbox. You can check your sent items, your deleted items, and you can organize your emails into folders. So, but again, there's always extended training that's available on Outlook as well. Okay, finally, I'm going to go back to the website and go to Faculty and Staff and click Blackboard. Okay, and you can see that it has taken me, and this is true also of campus email, that it takes you to an outside link. You can access Blackboard in your campus email through the Fontbonne website whenever you like, but you can also bookmark this as a separate link, and so you can see that I've done that here as well. So when I click there, it automatically goes in to my Blackboard. Okay. So this is normal. You're going to be able to see, your login screen if you just keep it as a bookmark. So that can be a useful tip as well. Now, on the login screen, you're going to see, again, I've just got my name. There's no at fontbonne.edu, and then my password. And for here, I've saved it, and depending on what browser you use or whether or not you choose to save your password, it can automatically do that for you. Just be careful, again, about doing that if you're on a public computer. Now, for this one, I'm actually going to use a demo account so that you can see it from your perspective. Mine's slightly different since I'm an administrator. But again, you would use your first initial, last name, and the password that you're given. Now when you log in, and for those of you who aren't familiar with Blackboard or D2L or Moodle, every campus, I wouldn't say every campus, but a lot of campuses use different systems. So with Blackboard, it's just an organization of the courses that you're teaching. Whether you intend to use Blackboard a lot or not very much at all, you're going to have a link in Blackboard to your current classes, and it will have your current roster. The one thing I would make note is that if you see in your GriffinNet that your roster is different from the way it is in Blackboard, sometimes students register and it takes a day or two to get them rolled into their classes, so that's usually the reason. But if you notice after a day that they're still not there and you have some concerns about it, just give me a holler. Okay, when you log in, this is your My Institution tab. We only have two tabs here. There's My Institution and Courses. And you can see your courses are listed right over here, and they're going to be organized depending on your role in the course. So you can see for this account that I'm teaching this course and this course here. I am enrolled in the Fontbonne Technology for Faculty site, and I'll show you that momentarily. But this is, you will see yourself as a student in here because all of our technology training is available. And then courses that I'm building, I'm going to have my master down here. And every institution calls it something different. Sometimes it's a sandbox or a demo account, or depending on whatever you call it. This is basically an open course that is created with your name on it, indicating that it's a master, and then usually it has the course ID attached to it as well. And we're going to start in this course, but this is where if you start working and someone else has developed content already and they're going to be giving it to you, you're just going to kind of move right in and start teaching with that content, then what's going to happen is someone in your department will either request that a master be set up for you and roll the content over, or they'll give you access to all of this so that you can complete the process whenever you choose. So if you go into the master, this is basically what it's going to look like. Now it's important to note that obviously these buttons are a specific color and they're organized in a certain way. Not all of the masters are going to look the same way. When it's first created, it's just going to be a regular series of blue buttons with some default buttons, but you can modify those and change them and do whatever you like with your content. So when you go in here, say I've just got a demo account here, and this person, say I'm a brand new faculty member and I'm borrowing from someone else's content who has graciously agreed to share, and I have a folder here that says syllabus. So let's say I want to take a look at the syllabus. That's okay, you can ignore that. But if I want to take a look at, so I've got course schedule and system requirements, there's an instructor profile here, I can go in and modify any of these things that I want here. And you'll want to go through some Blackboard training if you don't know how to do that. It's a little too lengthy for us to cover here. But you'll be able to at least see what this person has, modify it to suit your needs. You can set up a grade book in here. You can have your students submit all of their assignments here. You can essentially become a paperless instructor by utilizing your course site. But in your master, you want to set it up exactly the way you think it should look in your live course. You make all of your rules, you make all of your adjustments, and then you'll be able to roll it over into the live course. So let's say I've finished my master, I love it, I'm perfectly happy with it, and I want to move it over into my live course. I'm going to click on courses, and this is the live course that I'll take a look at here. Now, it is important to note though that with a lot of adjuncts, I tend to get questions about when will my summer class be available, I want to start working, when is my fall class open. It's important to note that these are automatically generated by the system based on what's in registration, and that's done 30 days prior to the course start date. See it after that, then definitely let me know, but I can't make those available any earlier. If you want to do any work, you're going to want to just set up a master and work in there, and then it takes you no time at all to roll it into your live course. So if I see my live course, it's within 30 days, so I want to go ahead and log in and see what it looks like. All live courses are going to look exactly the same. Okay, and that's because they're created with a template, and you're going to see this is the options one. The one for the traditional campus, it's almost exactly the same. It's just that the buttons look slightly different, and options has an additional area, I think student services here, and they include a resources list that has policies and contacts that are specific to the options program. But everybody is going to have a section for Fontbonne resources with a link to the library, contacts, policies. Tech tips are available here for you and your students. If you have any problems with Blackboard and you want some help, you can go ahead and click on that resource, and then your students will always have their grades and their email link here as well. These are all the default buttons. Again, you can always modify that and change it any way you like, but this is what the template's going to look like. If you copy from your master into this, then you're going to see your buttons, you should say your titles. The titles of the buttons are going to show up. The look of it is going to stay like this, but your buttons, your content, your grade book, all of those things are going to get rolled over, and it's going to be in this format when you're all done. Okay. The only other thing I'd want to point out is the tech training site. You will see this here. It's important to note too, if you don't have this, I have to manually add people to this site, and because especially with adjuncts, you guys come in at random times, and sometimes you're here very early, sometimes you're here much later, and so it's tough to figure out when exactly everyone's getting here. So I would want to let you know that if you don't see it, please just let me know. It takes 10 seconds to get you in there. It's no trouble at all, and it's really, really helpful. So if you can possibly get in there, it's important. So go ahead and click on there. And then this is what you're going to see, and your look's going to be a little bit different because you are a student in this course as opposed to an instructor, so you're not going to see all of the editing options here. This site can get very overwhelming, okay? So if you're brand new here, don't worry about it. It contains information for every technology that we have available on campus. It has printable training, it has video training, it has links to outside trainings that are very helpful for you. There's whole sections here on issues and trends in technology use. So it's a very, very big course site. Don't be overwhelmed by it. There's really only, as far as Blackboard goes, one area that you need to worry about. This section right here deals with all Blackboard issues. And probably your best bet is either you can go to New to Blackboard, and it will do a quick rundown of some of the basics, or you can go to How-To Guides, and if you click there, I'll go ahead and show you what's in there. It's going to explain to you what you're going to see in this, and I've got an area for just the fundamentals, just the most basic things that everybody needs to know, and then working with your content buttons, assignments, tests and quizzes, surveys, Grade Center, all of these different things. Okay, so there are lots and lots of different areas, but again, when you're new, if you've never worked in Blackboard before, I would just start with the fundamentals, and it'll give you a description of what you're going to find in there, and there are printable handouts and there are video tutorials. So depending on your particular learning style, you can access any one of those. The only other thing that let's see, on here I would want to mention is this button right here that has contacts on it. My information is all here. You can access, really email is a very effective way to get in touch with me, but you can also call. My hours are typically 7:30 to 4, but in all reality it's usually closer to 5. And if those hours do not work for you, especially with adjuncts, and you're working in the middle of the day, totally understand. If you need additional assistance, we can do one-on-one webinars, we can do phone calls, we can meet up. We do have trainings that are available in the evenings and weekends. You might want to check not just with me, but with people in your department. Sometimes they run them as well. But please do not hesitate to ask for some assistance in the evening or on the weekends. We do it all the time, so don't ever be hesitant about asking for that help. My office is here on the main campus, but I need to change this. It's no longer in the library. I'm in East 102C. So as you're going around the horseshoe, it's the last building before you exit back out onto Wydown. So just walk right in there, go down the hallway, and I'm the first office on the right. And I'm usually here, so you can pop in anytime. If it's anything related to email, the portal, anything having to do with your more administrative responsibilities as a faculty member, as opposed to your pedagogical needs or your needs within the classroom or your instructional technology, you may want to check with the IT department as well. And their general email is askit@fontbonne.edu, and you can access their phone number 719-8095, and they are open from 7:30 to 6:30 Monday through Thursday, and then on Friday from 8 to 4:30. So you'll be able to access them during those hours. And they are in Ryan Hall, the 3rd floor. So Ryan Hall is the main administration building right in the center of the horseshoe. So if you walk up the stairs and you go up to the 3rd floor, it's all the way on the left-hand side if you're walking in the front door. And somebody is always there and available to help. And if you need anything, then you can get all of the assistance you need there as well. And that's all I had for now. So if you have any questions or issues, please don't hesitate to holler out to us. And again, welcome.